Hey everybody, I thought I'd make a video that's kind of a follow-up, or inspired at least, by yesterday's video, Talk to the Boss, in which I was talking about how the centerpiece of authority and decision-making usually resides at the top in most bureaucracies, and how it's hard to get sometimes hard to get suitable action from or reaction from those in the intermediate levels, unless you happen to get one of those people that actually has the ambition and will eventually be at the top. But anyway, kind of a divergent subject. I was thinking about my best boss that I've ever had, and I wanted to share with you some of his wisdom that he shared with me and how it affected my life in a very positive way. The best boss I ever had was a man named Alan. Well, I had a lot of good bosses, but this guy was just incredible, just all around. He deserves to be on the can of Boss Coffee. Whenever I see that can of coffee, I think of Alan Pierce. Alan Pierce was my manager at software.com/openwave systems in the mid-90s. Our company was originally called software.com, changed into openwave systems, and we were an email server software company. We made big giant email servers that ran at the time 70% of the world's email, and a big mail system called Email MX. And anyway, I was the course developer, and for a time before I became a course developer, I was the instructor, and I would for the Email MX product. And I was given a position at one point to begin touring the world and traveling all around the world, teaching our customers, big, large major telecommunications companies like AT&T and the like, but all around the world, basically the AT&Ts of the world, how to use our software. So our teams would go in, the professional services team would go in for a 6-month deployment to install and get it all set up. I mean, remember, this thing handles millions of transactions, and supporting tens of millions of users. It was big systems. So I would go in, and my job would be to go in for a week and train them on a course we had written. Now, my manager, Alan, when he told me that I was going to be going on the road, they checked with me, was that okay, and was my wife okay with that? I'd be spending like 50% of my time traveling. And it's a great thing. This is before Emily arrived and the like, and one time for adventure. So I said, okay, it was cool with Yumiko, and I embarked on that. But before I headed out on the road, Alan took me down to the local travel store. Well, he had all kinds of great tips for me to help me set up as basically a globe-trotting world traveling businessman. He got me all set up. He told me how to get set up with all of the major, I choose an airline. I chose United Airlines under his suggestion. Get in their United Mileage Plus program. Choose a rental car agency. I chose Hertz Rental Car. Get set up with their Hertz #1 program. Get set up with all the different associations that would be relevant to the traveling that I would be doing. Here's the bench. Let's sit and wait for it to turn red. We'll sit at the bench for a second while we wait. Oh no, it's turning green now, so we gotta go. Shortest bench stop in the world. Here we go. So he got me set up on all of these different travel organizations. Now, when I first started off, I had no mileage at all. I had all these little cards with nothing. But over the course of a year or so, I quickly rose, with all the traveling I did, I quickly rose to the top of all of these different organizations, and I was a premier executive on United Airlines, which meant that I breezed into the airport, went right through the premier executive line, no waiting in line, got the premium seats, and premium service, got to stay in the little lounges in all the airports whenever there was a long layover and the like. And at Hertz #1, I would go to the airports and I would just breeze on through, and my car would be waiting there with the trunk open and the engine idling at the airport. It was an incredible thing. And so he really got me set up so I could really enjoy traveling, and he taught me how to travel light, how to pack with just this one bag so that I wouldn't have to worry about checking in any luggage. It was a great thing. It was a real experience to travel the world according to the tutorage of Alan Pierce. But I'll tell you what, but not only that, he was a great boss in every other capacity. A really worldly man, a man who had a lot of experience. He'd been beaten up by the world a lot. Why is it sometimes that the people with the most valuable insight are those who have been to the bottom and back? And Alan Pierce was certainly a man who had survived a lot in his life, and came out with it with an intact heart and a will of good and intentions to help others. He saw his job not as a vehicle to the top. He'd already arrived at the top. in so many ways, but as a way to live well and to share with others. And he was my benefactor. Now, I'll tell you a story. Here's the point of the whole thing. So I had this great boss, Alan. One of the things he did when he started out with me was he took me down to the travel store, and he helped me buy this. It was like a son to him, and he helped me buy this little belt. And it had a little pouch in it, and it was a money belt. And he told me a strategy. He said, Kurt, now whenever you travel, I want you to put all of your valuables, your passport, your money, your credit cards in this travel belt. He said, but you're still going to carry a wallet. And he helped me pick out a wallet too, a nice bulky one, so it kind of looked like it was full. And he taught me to stash in that wallet a sufficient amount of money in the local currency wherever I would be going. Now he taught me as well to trade my money, to exchange my money before I left. And so I always left wherever I was going, whether it be Amsterdam or someplace or Singapore or wherever the place would be. I'd come with the local currency before I got on the plane. Anyway, so he taught me to take that wallet and stuff it with enough local currency to look satisfying, and to put some relative, some undangerous cards in there. There were some old cards that I had of expired accounts and stuff like that, bank accounts and stuff like that, and I put in there. And they were really decoys, really. They were useless. No one can use them. They wouldn't work for anything, but they looked good. And I followed his advice. One thing I learned was to follow Alan Pierce's advice. Alan was rarely wrong when it came to travel. And so I always had my money belt, and I always had my wallet. Now that all I came to realize the wisdom of his suggestions one day when I was assigned to spend. And another thing he told me was always spend. He taught me how to book flights in such a way that the airlines liked it if you did a Saturday overnight, stay over a Saturday. I don't know why, and they would give you a better deal on the flight, and I would get to spend a weekend wherever I was. So whenever I went on assignment, let's say I was going to go to Bern, Switzerland for a week. I would spend Monday. I would fly in on I think it was Monday morning or something like that, or Sunday evening. I think it was. I can't quite remember. And I would stay Monday through. I remember. It was a 4-day training course. I would fly in on Monday, teach Tuesday through Friday, and then I would have the weekend in Bern to travel around as a tourist. And I did that wherever I went. I traveled the world, and I would always have a weekend to myself. And it was great. It saved the company money on the airline, and it allowed me a free weekend. It was great. The only down part was I didn't see a lot of my wife back then, but it was good because in a way this helped to get out, relieve a lot of the travel bug I had. I've always been one of those people that's been anxious for adventure in life, and this couple of years that I spent on the road as a road warrior really helped to alleviate a lot of that. Anyway, I digress. So I had, using this model and this methodology, I had been assigned to spend a week in Kingston, Jamaica, working on the big telecommunications company in Jamaica, which I successfully brought down. Yes, I brought the entire email system for the country of Jamaica down one day when I plugged too many things in the outlet socket, and it blew a fuse. I can't believe that. This is a true story. Blew a fuse, brought the whole building down, the whole floor down, all the servers down. I single-handedly brought it down. So that's another story altogether. But anyway, after my 4 days work stint was done, I spent one day with one of the guys that worked there, and he took me over to Port Royal, and I got to see the actual home where the actual pirates were. And he gave me a great tour of Kingston. We went and got jerk chicken. He took me to this always happened, all the locals there, they would take me out and show me the sights as only the locals can. This afternoon that I spent going to a castle in the south of France and eating snails in this incredible multi-course meal. I digress again. Anyway, so many experiences. I started on the channel. And anyway, I was in Kingston. I had already had that tour, and I was going to be leaving later. And that afternoon, I went down by myself to downtown Kingston, and nobody really told me that was a dangerous place. Not that I would have listened anyway, because I always like to go wherever I go. But anyway, so I went on down to downtown Kingston, and I'm in the downtown area. It's like the Shibuya area, I think it was, like of Kingston, Jamaica, and wandering around. People were really nice, A guy came out of his church and invited me in. They were in there having their church service. This was Sunday. This was Sunday then, because I'd already done. This must have been Sunday. I'm getting confused. It was a Sunday because there was a church. Maybe it was the Sunday I arrived or something. I'm all confused now. But it was definitely a Sunday because of the church service. Anyway, or maybe they're having a Saturday church service. But anyway, I'm off topic again. Anyway, so I refused the church service. I should have gone. I really should have. Maybe it was God talking to me. So I left and I walked on down to the downtown area, and I stopped because there was a cricket game going on in a field back here. And I just stopped, and it was right down there. Imagine having like Shibuya, but a toned down version, and then a cricket field or something like that. And I stopped, and I'm leaning against the fence, kind of like this fence, watching the game, you know, and people all around, milling about, you know, just, I mean, dozens of people all around. And suddenly I feel this poke in my back, poke. And I swear to gosh, I'm not joking you, in these perfect Jamaican tones, I hear this man's husky, deep voice say, "Don't move, man." And it was the perfect with a man, "Don't move, man." And I feel my wallet being slowly lifted from my back pocket. And I'm standing there, okay, I'm not going to move. And he didn't say another word, and he just turned around and he walked away with my wallet. Now then I slowly turned around and I watched him walk across the street. There were people everywhere, and lots of people had seen what was going on, and were standing there and watching. And he walked across the street. I'm not kidding. He walked like over to like the corner over there, like right this corner over here, about that far as well. And he stopped at a corner and he sat down on the curb, opened the wallet, and started took the money out and was counting the money that I had in the wallet. And I remember, this was a decoy wallet. This wasn't my real stuff. It was safe. All my credit cards and my money were safe in my money pouch. This was my decoy wallet that had the money in it. And I had a good deal of money in there. You know, as I said, I always kept it to make it look real. And I had cards. He seemed satisfied, and he put the wallet back in, and he was counting the money a little bit, and then got up and started walking away, and just went around the corner. And just then, just as he went around the corner, a big van came by with a policeman in it. And I waved him down. Remember, people are everywhere. They're watching. I waved the policeman down and I said, hey, excuse me. I just got robbed. The man over there, he just went around the corner and he took my wallet. And the policeman told me, he says, I can't help you. You know, you're going to have to go down to the police station down here and file a report. And I'm like, file a report? Vroom, off he goes. So I'm standing there, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Whoa, coolness. So then off he goes. And so then I'm standing there, what am I going to do? You know, and so I got scared, because remember, I thought this guy had a gun, and no one seemed to care, and no one was reacting or anything like that. So I flagged down this little tiny taxi cab. I swear to gosh, it was like the size of a Mazda Miata or something like that, like a Volkswagen, a little tiny thing. And I got him back. And I asked the guy to take me to my hotel. He took me back, and I was safe and sound. Now I got in. You know what this must have been? You know, I know what it was. I arrived early. I arrived on the Sunday before. That's right. I arrived on the Sunday before I started, and the classes were going to be held Monday through Thursday for some reason. Because I remember the next day I went in to the company I was going to work at, the telco in Jamaica, and I told the people there what happened to me. That's right. That's why there was a Sunday church service. It was kind of a screwed up schedule, but I did end up doing the Saturday night overnight, and that was the next weekend that I did that with. That guy took me to the tour to Port Royal. But anyway, so I went in and I told the guys what had happened to me that worked there at the telco, and their eyes kind of like this. They said, you were downtown. They said, you were there, that area. They described to me that area apparently is basically, you know, the center of like a mafia boss that owns that area. And apparently they told me that I was really lucky. They said that apparently that same weekend another foreigner had been there and been shot and killed. Now I'm not completely sure that guy had a gun. I'm still consistent believe that perhaps it was a very just an unripe banana. But you know, you never know. You know, you have something poked in your side. I guess you gotta expect the worst, right? So anyway, I just wanted this long-winded story to say thank you to my mentor and my benefactor, and one of the greatest men that I've ever had the chance to know. And I wish that I had understood more about how good he was at the time, Mr. Alan Pierce. You know, maybe I'm gonna have to send Alan an email just say thank you. I mean, we're all lucky if we can meet somebody like that. A wonderful boss, a wonderful friend, and a wonderful father figure and a role model to me in my life. Thank you, Alan, also for saving me, because you know what? If I hadn't had that money belt in there, and I knew it was there, if my credit cards had been really in that wallet, I'm the kind of person that I would have been sorely tempted to turn around and confront that guy. And who knows? I could have been dead. I mean, another foreigner was killed that very weekend in that same town for close calls. Okay, now it's time for me to shut down, get to work. Thank you all for having a watch and a listen, and I hope you have a great day wherever you are. Be careful. Remember, use those safety tricks. Use those frequent flyer miles. You know, in fact, I'm going to be going on a trip to the United States soon, and those are frequent flyer miles that I still have saved up from all those years on the road. I've got a ton of them, and keep all that stuff going, and have and appreciate those mentors that you have in your life. And if you have a chance, let him know, as I'm going to let Alan know as well. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Have a great day.